Ashe, Ashe, and grand rising to you all once again, you all my very beautiful people. Yes, you my highly enriched melanin people. You the Earth's original and organic humans, aka my fellow Africans. Yes, it is I, the Mystic Philosopher. And yes, it is evident that I'm back with you another time. I'm still here with you on this side of reality. And welcome back to the Mystic Peace talking again. Yes, under 15 minutes with I, the Mystic Philosopher. And this is episode 39. Now, the main topic, of course, of these series of talks is stress on the mind, or more correctly, the impact that this thing called stress has on the thing that we humans call mind. And that from I, the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, the solution to this problem, or the solutions to this problem, or this disease called stress can or may be found in and by the understanding, understanding, and overstanding of the want equation. Namely, want is equal to money equals stress equal unhappiness. And also by putting into practice the knowledge that can be gained from this profound equation. And the quote that I am using, as you know by now, and have been using to make and to illustrate my points, is from the Adamic Race History and Holy Book, Psalms 23 and the first verse. And I quote, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." This episode 39 is a little bit different. It is dedicated, if you will, to answering another very powerful and straightforward question from one of my listeners. And the question is this: Mr. Mystic Philosopher, if in your last talk you said that Moses did not write the Bible and that God is flawed, that the Bible is flawed and the people that God created are flawed, if that is true, then why are you quoting from the Bible, let alone quoting from the Holy Scriptures, trying to prove your so-called points? Unquote. First, let me say a big thank you, sir or madam, for taking time out of your life, because life is equal to time, to listen to I, the Mystic Philosopher, and my thought-provoking perspectives. And second, thank you very much for taking time out to write and submit this very thoughtful and intelligent question. I am pretty sure that there are many more listeners and people like yourself that might be thinking of the same question but might not be as brave or brave enough to ask it, or they might not have found the time or taken the time out to ask it. And I am more than happy to answer it. In fact, I honestly think that I am obligated to you and to other listeners to answer this question. However, in order for my answer to be fair to you, to the rest of my listeners, and to myself, we must both first agree upon what I literally said, as distinguished from what I did not say, and your possible misinterpretation of what I actually said. I'm quoting you now. You said that Moses, I'm quoting you, quoting me. You said that Moses did not write the Bible. Or rather, you said that Moses did not write the Bible. Unquote. Here you are incorrect in both what you may have heard or what you may not have heard. Or you are incorrect in your thinking and your interpretation of what you believe that you may have heard, or all of the aforementioned. But the record will show and prove that was definitely not what I said. I did not say that Moses did not write the Bible. I honestly think that that statement would be much too elementary for the caliber of listeners that I know and know of a fact are listening to me and are sending me comments and feedback on my videos. I think it would be an insult to their intelligence to tell them that Moses did not write the Bible. They know that. They know that even if Moses did exist, that he would not have known a Bible and could not have known a Bible, that he did not know or read, let alone write a Bible. In fact, they know that the word Bible did not even exist during the time that this character called Moses supposedly lived. So here again is what I said. I said that Moses did not write the Torah. Moses did not write the Pentateuch. or the first 5 books of the Adamic race history and Holy Bible, or at the very least I said that if he did not write all of it. And to back up my statement, I read a quote from a Wikipedia website titled Law of Moses, which I will here again read for you, sir or madam. And I quote, according to the Hebrew Bible, Moses was the leader of early Israel out of Egypt. And traditionally, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible are attributed to him. Though most scholars believe there were multiple authors, unquote. And for your information and from my perspective, with all the openness to knowledge and the availability of information, aka the information age and the internet today, and as we speak, only an intellectually dishonest melanin scholar or historian or an intellectually dishonest member of the Adamic race and races that would knowingly and intentionally proclaim to the world the contrary. Meaning, only those sort of human and humankind that would say that the character called Moses wrote the Bible and the Torah. Again, I quote you. And that God is flawed. The Bible is flawed. And this is from your question, and the Bible is flawed. And that the people God created are flawed. Unquote. Yes, I did say that. And I still maintain that from the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, the Adamic God is flawed. The Adamic race, history, and holy book, aka the Christian Holy Bible, is flawed. And the people that the Adamic God, created, aka the Adamic race and races, are also flawed. However, what you intentionally neglected or otherwise failed to acknowledge and point out in your preamble to your question is that my perspective and conclusion are conditional. They are conditional upon the word if, meaning it is only true if the following conditions are met. Careful observation by any intellectually honest critique of what I have said will affirm that I use a conditional clause at least 8 times in my declarative statements. So please let me read it again verbatim for you. And I quote, if it can be proven, or if it were to be proven, or if it is proven by genuine truth seekers, sensible and independent thinking people, that Moses or the character called Moses did not really exist, let alone write the law, aka the Torah, the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, or at the very least, if it were to be proven that he did exist, but that he did not write all of the Torah, then right there and then our common sense, if activated, should tell us and would tell us that we have been lied to and that we are being lied to, and above all, that the Adamic race, history, and holy book is flawed, and that if it's true that it was indeed the Adamic God that is spoken of in it, that actually inspired it, then he too is flawed. And if it is true that he was indeed the one that made or created the Adamic race and races of people, then they too are flawed. And if that is correct, then we should not expect them to be nothing or anything more than being flawed. Unquote. I said it. Please listen to it again. You quote me again. Or you quote. You said, if that is true, then why are you even quoting from the Bible, let alone using the Holy Scriptures to prove your so-called points? Unquote. My answer to this question is as follows. Number 1, from my perspective, the first thing that we both need to clarify and have an agreement and understanding on is that is, what do I mean by the word flawed? Or what is meant by the word flawed? I mean exactly what the English dictionaries say it means and what it is defined as. And here is what it means. And is defined as according to one online English dictionary, coupled with a few words that are synonyms with it. 1. It means blemished. The word flawed means blemished, damaged, or imperfect in some way. Synonyms, and some synonyms are, or similar words are, unsound. It means unsound. It means defective. It means faulty. It means distorted, inaccurate, or incorrect, etc. So here we have it. The book is blemished, damaged, or the book is imperfect in some way. So please note that flawed does not mean or is not defined as imperfect in every way, but only in some way. And if I might also add to that, most honest Bible scholars that are in the know themselves will admit that the Bible is polluted with what they themselves call interpolations. So this is not something else or something new or some things that I, the Mystic Philosopher, is making up to try and impress anyone. Now, if that is true, then our activated common sense will affirm that not just because the book is flawed or filled with interpolations, meaning that there is nothing good in it, means that there is nothing good about it, or that the book is completely useless, or that it should be totally abandoned. Not at all. From the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, no sensible, wise, and informed human among us can or would come up with that conclusion. And at no time can anyone honestly say that they heard me in any of my lectures, speeches, talks, songs, or videos, etc., say or tell you, my melanin people, that you should have nothing to do with the Adamic race history and Holy Book, aka the Christian Holy Bible. In fact, the record will show that the only 3 books that I very strongly suggest and recommend that you all, my people, that at the very least that you should read and acquaint yourself with them. And one of which I told you that you should study. And these books are number one, the Adamic Race History and Holy Book, aka the Christian Holy Bible. The book, and number 2 is the book titled On the Origin of Species. And the correct name for that book is, or the more complete name is, On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. And that book is done by Charles Darwin. We'll have more about that some other time. And number 3, the third book, is the English Dictionary. And just for the record of these 3 books, the only one that I recommended, and now recommend again, that you really and seriously spend time and study, is the dictionary. Now 2, and my second answer to this part of your question, again, I quote, if that is true, then why are you even quoting from the Bible, let alone using the Holy Scriptures to prove your so-called points? And it is as follows. As I have mentioned earlier, that not just because the book is flawed, it means that there is nothing good about it, or that there is nothing good to be found in it. For your information, there are an abundance of sensible, useful, profound, philosophical, instructional materials, ideas, idioms, proverbs, and commandments, etc., etc., for just practical, everyday living that are to be found in it. Moreover, I also told you, as early as in episode 36, that it is laced with plagiarism that can be proven and are proven to be stolen from our melanin people, our African ancestors. Please let me quote from episode 36 for you some of what I have said about plagiarism in the Bible. And I quote, I would be remiss if I did not point out this very important fact that is, I'm very much aware of the fact that the content of the Adamic Race History and Holy Book, aka the Christian Holy Bible, is laced with plagiarism. Meaning that these Johnny-come-lately race of humankind have borrowed, or more correctly, they have blatantly stolen and have laid claim to a lot of our ancestors' informations, ideas, thoughts, and our ancestors' materials, our ancestors' teachings, and their practices, etc., etc., etc. And that these thieves have passed them off, and that to this day, they are still passing it off, or passing them off as if it is their own, unquote. And I also told you that because of circumstances that might be currently beyond our control, we will, or we may sometimes have to go back to them, to their book, to find some of them, to some of our own teachings. Them meaning our own material, our own truths, etc. I also told you and still maintain that it still does not negate the fact that it is their book and that it is not ours. Just as it is their God, their gods, their savior, their devils, their prophets, etc., etc., that are in it. And I promise you then, and I am also promising you now, that I will have much more on that point at another time, or more likely in my next episode, episode 30 or episode 40. And last but not least, by no means the least, I honestly think that I would be negligent, if not appear hypocritical, if I did not address your noticeable, if not your syllogistic remarks at the end of your very noteworthy question, quote, to prove your so-called points, unquote. I must say, sir or madam, that I respectfully disagree with you. That my points, or more correctly, the points that I am identifying and highlighting are not genuine. But that is neither here nor there. I thank you for your question. And so I do hope that I have answered your question, above all that I have answered it to your satisfaction and to all else that it may concern. Again, thanks. Again, thus far for today's episode, I honestly think that I have given you at least I honestly think that I may have given some of you, if not all of you, a lot more to think about and possible to look forward to in my next episode, as it relates to the word flawed, plagiarism, commandments, commands, and of course the word want, etc., as found in the Adamic Race History and Holy Book, the Christian Holy Bible. And so, in the interest of time, I think I run past my time. Please forgive me this time. I think that I should just pause here for today and ask that you please join me in my next, or when next I'm talking again, possibly in episode 40, where and when I will be talking more about the words command and commandments and the word disease, and also the word want, or the disease word called want. And as I continue to share my perspectives on the quote from the Adamic race, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, which I am only using as a reference just to make my points. So please stay tuned. I shall not want, you shall not want, we shall not want, and nor should we be found wanting. In the meantime and between time, please let me again remind you, my people, that yesterday's history, it too is dead and gone, no more to come back, but tomorrow is a mystery. It too may never come, but today is a gift, which is why it is called the present day. And so I hereby implore you, I'm imploring you to live for today. By live, I mean to claim your natural birthright. And just in case you forget, your natural birthright is your happiness. Let no one steal your joy. And full joy today. And let's hope for tomorrow. For tomorrow it too may never come. One of my friends just passed yesterday. Gone to the other side. So thanks again for your time and for listening. I am the Mystic Philosopher. I'll run over time, but I guess you can forgive me this time.